This is Mastering the Chromebook and the Google Drive video series created by Elizabeth Mangrum. This is video 3, Creating Presentation Slides. If you have the handout, you can use it to follow along. If you don't have the handout, that's okay. You can still be working on your Chromebook. Before we begin, all students need to be logged into their Google Drive account. So if not everyone's not in their Google Drive account, then we want to have everyone log in. The other piece that they need is they need their rough draft of their 3-slide plan. So once everyone has those items, we'll continue the video. Go ahead and pause if needed. In this part of the video, I'm going to show you how to create a presentation. You will use this skill quite often in your classes, so I want to walk you through how you would do that. We're back on Joe Schmo's Google Drive, and as you can see, he has his language arts and math folders. We'll pretend he's got the other ones. Right now, he's going to go into language arts. He's going to go into the handouts. Nope, he's not going to go into handouts. He's going to go to turn in. And we already see there that one assignment that he did in video 2, but now what he needs to do is create his own presentation from scratch. So Google Drive is going to ask, do you want to create and share this? And the answer to that is yes, because then it automatically shares with his teacher and he doesn't have to set it up. So we come to this screen right here. It asks Joe to choose his theme, and there's a lot of different options, but for now, because this is the first presentation, you only get to pick from the top 4. I know, I'm so mean. Yes, I know your life's devastated, but you only get to choose from the top 4, and I would recommend sticking with either the white or the light gradient, because if you pick either of these two, you keep having to change your font from black font to white font, and it gets rather complicated. So for now, Joe's going to choose to use the light gradient. Eventually, your teacher will give you permission to move beyond the top 4, but at this point, you just need to learn how to make a presentation. So you are only getting to choose from the top 4. So you just click OK. Now you want to make sure that you keep your theme consistent. So all your slides should have the same background color. Do not do a different color for different slides. That is not professional. That is just irritating. I know it's cutesy and fun for you, but we're trying to teach you job skills, and jobs and bosses are not impressed when every slide is a different color. So professionalism, keep it the same. Now you're going to go up here where it says Untitled Presentation and click on that, and you want to name it. So Joe's got to name his for his subject, the period that he's in, and then he puts his name. And this is called Plan for Success Slides. That's what his teacher told him to name the document. Okay. Now he's named his document. Now he just wants to put his title. So he's going to put the title Plan for Success. Now on the first slide, Joe needs to put his name. He doesn't have a text box up here to put it in. So he's just going to click right here. Do you see that text box? And what you want to do is with your left finger, click in the lower area of your touchpad, so hold it down, and then use your right finger to drag. Joe doesn't need it to be that big, but he doesn't need it to be long. Once you let go with both fingers, you have your text box, and see your little cursor right there? So that means that you can type it in. So Joe's going to put his name, And then he wants to move over to the middle to put the period. He's going to use the tab key. Do not hit the space bar repeatedly. That's irritating. Joe's going to use the tab key. The tab key is on the left side of your keyboard, and it's toward the top, middle-ish top. You can reach it with your pinky. All right. And so he's going to put in period 07, and he's going to tab over again and put in the date. Okay. All right, now Joe is getting like, well, maybe that's a little too low. Maybe I need to move it higher. So Joe wants to move this box. So what he's going to do is, you see how the little cursor is blinking there? He wants to highlight the box, not the text. So he's going to get into this area right here, and he's going to click. Notice how the cursor disappeared, but the blue box did not. Now Joe can use his arrow keys, and he can, on the keypad, and he can move this left, right, up, down. Okay, Joe finds that that's a good spot. Okay, all right. Now, because this is your first presentation, you are not playing with the font. You are not playing with changing the color of the font, the size of the font, anything like that. You keep it exactly how it is. Your teacher will let you know in a few presentation practices from now. Once you've got the basic skills down, they will start to free you up to choose themes, to change the font colors, that kind of thing. But for now, you will lose points if you are changing those things because you're not following directions. So what I need you to do at this point is go ahead and create the first slide for your video using the rough draft template form that you have on paper that you're supposed to have with you. You can go ahead and pause the video until everyone gets that piece done. All right, now that Joe has his first slide set up, he's going to add a new slide. So he's going to go over here to this area in the left corner, and he's just going to click the plus sign, and it gives him a new slide. And Joe feels like he needs to change the layout. So he goes over here, and he looks at his layout choices, and he decides, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make it 2 columns. So he selects that. And then he starts filling in his information from his paper rough draft copy. He's going to name this one in class. So he's going to talk about how he's going to be successful in class. And he puts just a couple of ways he's going to be successful. He's going to write down homework in every class. And, oh, wait a minute. Joe made a mistake. So Joe can just go back using his touchpad. He can just move the cursor back there and add the S. Or if it's a word that he's not quite sure how to spell, what you want to do is put the cursor right in the word. And then you're going to just double click. Whoops, no, it does that sometimes. Sometimes it's a little diva-ish. And then you're just going to use 2 fingers and click. There it is. And Google Drive will ask you, is this the word you wanted? If it is, you go, yes, and you click on it. If it's not, now you got to get out a dictionary because the computer doesn't even know what you want. But that's how you check spelling or fix spelling mistakes. Now, oh, I forgot to mention to you, in order to move down, a lot of times what students do is they hold down the space bar. Don't do that. That's bad formatting, bad everything. So just don't do that. You want to hit your enter or return key. It's on the right side, in the middle, on the edge. Okay, just hit enter and it takes you down to a new line. And then Joe goes ahead and keeps typing. And he also is going to pay attention in class. All right, let's take a look at this. First of all, this slide is doing too much. There is too much text here. In a presentation, a slide should have phrases. It should hit the highlights because the presentation is not the slide itself. The presentation is what the speaker tells them. So those slides should give them hints. So Joe's going to go back. He realizes, oh, I got too much going on there. And he's going to fix these things. So he's going to delete this whole one, and look at how much space he's going to save, because he's going to put down just organize papers. And then he'll explain what he means by that. And we're going to keep pay attention in class. That's perfectly fine. Okay, now Joe has finished the slide and he realizes, oh, wait a minute, I don't need 2 columns. So he goes up here to change the format, the layout, and he realizes, wait, where did it go? Well, the problem is he's in the text box, so all the options up here are about text. So Joe clicks outside of it, make sure that there are no text boxes highlighted, so it's always out here in these margins. And then he can go to layout, and he's going to fix it back to this one. There we go. All right. So what I'd like you to do now is we're going to pause the video so that you can create your second slide. Please keep in mind that when you finish creating your video, it is not a chatting time for you. You can help your seat partner if they're stuck, or you can do silent reading or a review activity. You are not automatically on free time the second you get done with your second slide. So let's go ahead and pause the video so you can get your second slide completed. All right, here we are. We're ready to add our third slide. So we just go back up there and add our third slide. And this one, Joe does know that he needs 2 columns. So he's going back to layout and he's making it 2 columns. And he's going to label this one at home. So Joe wants to write down some of the things he can do to be successful at home. So first he's going to talk about where he will do his work. And he's decided he's going to do it at the kitchen table. And he wants to turn off cell phone and TV. And if it gets loud, Joe's going to go to his mom's room to work. Now Joe realizes, wait a minute, I'm still doing too much. I am still writing too much here. This can just be called technology free. And then Joe in his presentation would explain what he means by that. Okay. Now over in this column, he's going to talk about when he'll do homework. Notice that these are continuing to just be phrases. Okay. So Joe has now put down where he'll do his homework, where he'll get his work done, and when he will get it done. Okay. Now let's say that Joe spells library wrong. Okay. Again, right-clicking. That's 2 fingers down on the bottom part of the keypad, and he just selects the correct word. Okay. Now this one's not happy, and all it wants to do is put in a space. So fine, whatever. Okay. And right now Joe's noticing that the where and when is kind of just blending in. So he's going to go in and he's going to highlight each of those words, and he's just going to underline them. So you could bold, you can italicize, and you can underline. Now you might wonder, what's this? This is to change the text color and to highlight. You don't get to do that yet. That is for the future. I know, I'm so mean. All right, so Joe's underlining. So at this point, Joe has his basic outline. And this is going to be the end of part 1, just the basics of how to create the slides. In part 2, I'm going to show you how to add transitions and to make things a little more snazzy, as I like to say. This is the end of Video 3, Part 1, Mastering the Chromebook and the Google Drive. To continue on to Part 2, you will learn how to add transitions and enhance your video.